Alright, so we're about a week into the Xyz Cup event, and I hope everyone has reached their goal for what they wanted to get out of this, whether it be just, get the D level 19, get all the gems, or even dual levels max. I mean, who'd be crazy enough to get dual level max in this pointless event, right? I mean, seriously, right? And, yeah, don't worry, there's only a few more days left of this event, an event that people are calling pretty much the worst event that has ever happened in the history of Master Duel, and honestly, I can't say I disagree with that statement. This Xyz Cup is probably, at minimum, top 3, if not top 2, worst Master Duel event ever. So far, I'm not gonna close the door on there being even worse events in the future, because this is Konami we're talking about. Hopefully there won't be. Hopefully they learn their lesson from this one, because it's actually impressive how poorly they designed this event. And I think you'd literally have to try to come up with an event that's as bad as this one. In terms of all the issues associated with all of the bad Master events, this Xyz Cup pretty much checks off all the boxes. So we can go over. I guess we can go over all the problems one by one. First of all, and this is outside of anything else, this is the biggest issue with this event, is that they're locking gems and they're gating gems by this ladder system, this Duelist Cup D level 12 or D level up to D level 19 and D level max thing, which there's D ranking involved. So you can't just skirt by in a typical event where you can just use whatever the hell you want, and no matter how many times you lose, it's fine as long as you win 11 to your 20 games and you can get all the gems from that event. You can get all the gems from that event. You can't do that here. You can't just rock in here with some random BS and get all the gems. You have to actually have somewhat of a competent deck in order to do this, which is, it can be hard to do that for this event. Build a competent deck, because every extra deck monster that's not in Xyz is banned, and what are you going to do if you don't happen to own one of the very few Xyz decks that are legal for this? I know this format, this locking the gems behind the duelist levels is a thing in Duelist Cups, and that's nothing new to Master Duel. And I know I'm not the biggest fan of Duelist Cups myself, but this Xyz Cup is so bad that it's gonna make me do the unthinkable. It's making me defend the Duelist Cups. By the way, the Duelist Cups that we just had one last month, by the way, so why are we having 2 months straight of 72-hour grinding session events? Does anybody want that? But yeah, regardless, Duelist Cup, even though Duelist Cup locks gems behind Duelist levels, and yes, you have to rank up to get them, and it is a competitive event, at the very least, Duelist Cup doesn't restrict you to a specific type of deck. You can use whatever you want that's legal in Master Duel in the Duelist Cup. So you're probably going to have at least one competent deck to use to get all the gems with in a Duelist Cup event, because if you're playing Master Duel at all, I would hope that you would play Master Duel hoping that you would build at least one deck that you can actually play seriously. But that's not the case for the Xyz Cup. And it's even worse for these cup events, because they don't even give you loaners for these. At the very least, in a regular festival, even if you didn't have any deck that had anything to do with the special restrictions in the event, they would at least give you choices between loaner decks that you can at least play without spending any resources on, so that you can at least, participate and play in the event. Maybe have a little bit of fun. I don't know, but I know, weird concept, having fun playing Master Duel. But that's not even the case here. And I know some people are going to say, well, this is a competitive event, why would they give you loaner decks? Okay, why don't we go to rank? Why don't we go to standard Master Duel? The main way to play Master Duel, the main ranked ladder system. Standard ladder ranked on Master Duel gives you 3 loaners to use. Okay, if Master Duel can give you loaners to use for ranked ladder, I don't see what's the harm in giving loaners for a Duelist Cup event, especially one that has such a restricted mana list. I don't think anyone will complain about there being loners that people can use. Like oh no, man, and these people don't have decks they can use. Why don't we give them like a clearly worse decks that like they can play that don't have any chance of actually ranking up or like climbing second stage, but are still, you know, give people something to use, right? Well, what's the harm in that? Well, that might have something to do with the next complaint that people have about events like these, which is that sometimes it feels like Konami is just designing events to sell the newest cards and newest packs that got released. So the monthly events are usually released or announced after the monthly patch where the new selection packs usually come in, and you know, a lot of times it feels like they're specifically choosing an event and like an ban list or like a theme for the event that's related to the new packs that came out in order to sell new packs. So, I mean, why don't we take a look at what's in the shop right now? So, we got the big selection pack, which is Eternal Partners, where, by the way, this is a ban list where Zeus went to 2, and then they released Typhon. So, it's just these two cards. It's not that much. I don't think that if it was just Zeus and Typhon being in the new selection packs, people would really feel like Konami is trying to get them to buy this pack specifically for an Xyz event because it's just 2 cards. But this wasn't the only selection pack that came out. There are, you know, there's 2 new packs that also released this month. One of them is Xyz Explosion. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, a lot of the URs in here are cards that don't really see much play normally. I mean, the rank 10 like trains, it's like Earth Machine and Eldritch. When was the last time you played against either of those? We have Raid Raptor cards when the new Raid Raptor support isn't in Master Duel yet. Same with Beatrice, we don't have the Fiendsmith stuff, so there isn't a lot of techs that are playing rank 6s. Cyber Dragon is Cyber Dragon. It's Photon and like other rank 8 Xyz decks, which aren't pretty common and are also decently expensive, which chase players away from possibly building it. And then we have Generators, I guess common Dire L, because Generators isn't really that popular of a deck. And then the most commonly played cards in this pack are like Exciton Knight and Redoer, which are played in tier as like you know, an actual deck in the format right now. Sometimes not even like a lot of decks don't even play Exciton Knight. It's mainly just Redoer for tier. And then we have Utopic Draco Future, which is occasionally seen in Pearly builds that play and splash in the Ghost Trick engine. But again, like, these are not very commonly played cards unless you're gonna play in the Xyz event, because Generators are actually one of the few playable Xyz decks in the Xyz event. So I guess it's not a common Dire L, it's a common Dire W, or it's a rare Dire W. Well, yeah. What about the other pack? So the other pack is Cashier, and this is probably the more egregious one if you're trying to make the argument that Konami is trying to sell packs, because again, this Cashier is probably the second or most common deck that you will find in the Xyz Cup. It's probably the deck that along with Pearly is the least hurt by not having other extra deck summoning types, since I mean, all you really need is just a Rise Heart and a Dream right in the extra deck. And yeah, these cards weren't available in a pack before, so you have to craft them. But now, conveniently, all of these URs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 URs, 6 different URs in the Cashier deck are now all in a single pack. How convenient that this pack released right before the Xyz Cup. Thinking. Well, yeah. Now, so far the issues I've brought up regarding this event have been mainly related to the reward distribution and like the concept of the Xyz Cup as a whole, and the high barriers of entry to be able to play in this event competitively. But let's say you're one of the few people who have access to an Xyz deck or two, like me, and are able to actually play in this format like it was quote-unquote intended. Is this format of the Xyz Cup actually interesting? Is it a good format? First of all, on a side note, I went back and checked, and this is, I think, the sixth Xyz based event that we've had in Master Duel. The sixth one. Konami, this is the sixth time you've brought the Xyz event to show and tell. Like, we've had the NR Festival once and the Limit 1 Festival twice, but we've had 6 goddamn Xyz events. And, you know, there's always been an issue with every other Xyz event for some reason. Like, remember the first ever event in Master Duel, the first Xyz event, which was just a self TK fest, and then we had another Xyz event, which was, you know, Flying C was legal for the first day, and they had to do an emergency banlist to ban the Flying C. Well, I mean, yeah, that's a theme with the Xyz event. Sometimes things slip through the cracks, and I think that's a way to describe the ban list for this Xyz event, is stuff slipping through the cracks. Case in point, this deck. Okay, this is Labyrinth. This is Labyrinth. Okay, with very renowned Xyz based decks. This deck totally goes into an Xyz monster more than once every 5 to 10 games. Totally, right? So the Labyrinth is legal, right? It's like they pick and chose, or like they randomly threw darts at a dartboard and then used that to decide which decks to hit. Because as you can see, they hit Fluunderies, right? All the Fluunderies monsters are banned. So they banned Flu. So they identified that decks that don't really focus on the extra deck mechanic exist, and they hit some of them, like Flu. But they also didn't hit some of them, like Labyrinth, for some reason. Which Labyrinth goes into the extra deck like a marginally higher amount than Flu, I suppose. But it's odd that among these two decks that really do not focus on Xyz something for a large part at all, only one of them gets banned from the event, but the other one is largely legal and is arguably maybe even one of the best decks, if not the best deck for this event. Thinking. Also, like, other random hits. Okay, so they banned a lot of Floodgate monsters. Like, they banned Fossil Dyna and they banned Vandy's Fiend. For some reason, I just wanted to point this out. I don't even think this is the biggest issue, but like, Majesty's Fiend is legal, but Vandy's Fiend is banned. Why? Like, these two are like the two most related tribute stun monsters in the game. Like, these two are almost synonymous with each other, but it's like you decide to hit one of them, but you didn't hit the other one. There's no way you forgot that both exist, right? Because these are, I mean, yeah, whatever. And then, like, on top of Floodgates, right? So they banned Summon Limit. Good. You know, rip Bozo. But stuff like Gozen and There Can Be Only One are, you know, still here for some reason. I guess you could argue There Can Be Only One is a UR, so therefore it's okay for it to be legal if people are going to spend UR points for. I don't really know, but it's like, it seems arbitrary what they decide to hit, because they clearly identified problems and cards that need to be hit, but also they seem to have forgotten the other related cards to the problem cards that they hit, and kept them legal for some reason. You know, Stun is still a playable deck despite these hits, because they also, you know, barrier statues are still legal, so their barrier statue are like marginally worse than the Fossil Dyna. They have 200 less attack. Huge difference. I know that's a game breaker right there. But I mean, why don't we look at what like some decks that people are playing? Like, let's look at what people have gone to Duelist level max with on Master Duel meta. So here we have Xyz Cup Duelist level max. Okay, so we have Pearly. That's to be expected. Then we have Labyrinth. Second most played deck, by the way. Second most played deck to get the D level max is fucking Labyrinth in an Xyz event. Okay, then we have Cashier, then we have Exo Sister, And then tied with Exo Sister, we have Mikanko. Mikanko. Okay. What the hell is Mikanko doing in an Xyz event? Okay. Like, you think Mikanko is ever gonna make any of these? This guy didn't even fill out a 15 card extra deck. This extra deck is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have an 8 card extra deck, because that's how much they care about Xyz something in Mikanko. But this is like the apparently tied for the 4th most played deck in this event. In the Xyz event, by the way. Thinking. Actually, I'm curious. Why don't we look at the Horus build for a second? Here. And okay, I see. Here's some of the missing floodgates that I mentioned that Konami forgot to put on the ban list. So we got there can be only one. Yes. Actual floodgate against Labyrinth, because the lab can't use Big Welcome or Welcome Labyrinth or Big Lady if they control any other lab monster. So cool. We're floodgating the non-Xyz decks. I guess that's fair. I don't know. Anti-spell fragrance, and then we have Secret Village of the Spellcasters, the super anti-spell. You play this against Pearly, and suddenly they can't play the game at all. Nice, interesting. Man, this what really cool formats we have on our hands. And honestly, though, there's if we're gonna talk about stuff missed on the ban list, we have to talk about the inevitable. This card right here, the Elephant in the Room Maxi. So I'm sure you've noticed that in past events that we've had, even past Xyz events that we had, Maxi has actually been banned because Konami. I assume that people said in the surveys that Maxi was really not conducive to an enjoyable event in the past Master Duel events. So they've actually done a good job of getting rid of Maxi during the events. But this is a competitive event, so that means Maxi has to be legal, right? In Konami's mind, Maxi is the card that's making Master Duel competitive, and have Maxi being legal makes Master Duel more competitive in Konami's mind. Now, whether you agree with that or not, but that's apparently just the way they think. So, yeah. Also, there's also maybe another reason that's contributing to a bunch of non-Xyz decks being so popular in the Xyz-based event. So if we look at the missions here for the Xyz Cup, right? We have Duel in the Xyz Cup, normal or special summon a monster, Duel in the Xyz Cup twice, so you'll play 50 games, I suppose, activate a spell trap, and win a Duel in the Xyz Cup. You notice none of these missions actually say you need to Xyz summon. There's actually zero incentive for you to actually Xyz summon in the Xyz event. That's wild to me. That's like something. I mean, every single type of these events, there's at least one set of missions that gives you gems for special summoning the specific extra deck summoning mechanic that's the theme for that event. But apparently for the Xyz Cup, because this is a competitive event, clearly they want to avoid that. They don't want to restrict you too much. They want to restrict you on some of the decks you can play, but not completely. I don't really. I feel like that's a force. That's like they must have forgore, right? They must have forgore to put in Xyz Summon mission. There's no way that. So, yeah, that's kind of summing up my thoughts about this event. There's quite a few issues. Let me know if you actually enjoyed this event. Please tell me why and tell me how you can find ways to enjoy this event. I would, as someone who's possibly planning on grinding stage 2, because as I'm someone who does not respect my personal time enough, tell me how you can enjoy this event so that I can maybe not hate myself so much during stage 2. Yeah, but also, please, when the survey comes, please tell Konami how you feel about this type of event, and I'm sure it's not going to be too popular in the survey. And Konami does. I promise Konami reads and listens to the surveys answers at sometimes, right? They gotta listen to some of the surveys that we fill out, especially if the responses are overwhelmingly negative, which I have a feeling that they just might be for this event. So also, if you're at this point and you haven't actually completed the event yet, or you haven't gone to Duelist level 19 and gotten all your gems yet, I did make a couple videos on possible decks that you can play for this event, budget and non-budget. So, you know, maybe if you're stuck or like you're just trying to find a way to grind through this event, maybe there's something in those videos that will help you. And best of luck to you if you haven't. And if you're already done with this event, you're never touching this shit again. Yeah, just wait a few days for the survey to come out.